There comes a time in your life when you must take a deep look around and ask yourself, who am I giving my energy to? Who am I pouring into? And what are they doing with what I give? Because let me tell you something, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your loyalty, or your spirit. Some people are not meant to be permanent fixtures in your story. They were only supposed to be lessons on the journey. But too many of us are out here trying to make lessons into lifetimes. You've got to stop investing yourself in wrong people. You can't keep planting seeds in barren soil and expecting a harvest. You can't keep giving your best to people who only take and take and take, until there's nothing left of you but emptiness and regret. Some people don't come to grow with you. They come to drain you. They come to distract you from your purpose, to keep you locked in circles that lead nowhere. You've got to know the difference between someone who's walking with you and someone who's walking on you. The wrong people will smile in your face while they quietly pull the strength out of your spirit. They'll applaud your progress as long as it doesn't outshine their comfort zone. But the moment your growth demands that they grow too, they'll call you selfish. They'll call you changed. And yes, you have changed. You should change, because you cannot step into your destiny dragging dead weight from your past. You see, there are people who only love you for what you can do for them. They love your gifts but not your growth. They love your presence but not your purpose. They're fine as long as you fit inside their small picture. But the moment God starts painting something bigger in your life, they get uncomfortable. You've got to stop trying to convince the wrong people to understand the vision that wasn't shown to them. Some people will never see what you see because it wasn't meant for them. Stop begging for validation from those who were never assigned to confirm your calling. Stop chasing the approval of those who can't even approve themselves. You are wasting your energy trying to make people stay who were never meant to go where you're going. Don't let your heart get in the way of your wisdom. You can love someone and still recognize that they're not right for your next season. Love doesn't always mean partnership. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Some connections are divine for a moment, not for a lifetime. The wrong people will keep you stuck at the level you were supposed to grow beyond. They'll feed your comfort but starve your calling. They'll tell you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear. And when you finally outgrow the place they met you, they'll accuse you of forgetting them, when the truth is, you just remembered yourself. Don't invest your purpose into people who are bankrupt in character. Don't pour your oil into vessels that have no intention of holding it. Protect your peace like it's your treasure, because it is. Protect your spirit from those who don't respect it. If they only show up when they need something, they're not connected to you. They're connected to your benefits. You've got to surround yourself with people who multiply your energy, not subtract from it. People who speak life into your dreams instead of death into your faith. People who celebrate your growth even when it challenges them to grow too. When you walk with the right people, you rise higher. When you walk with the wrong ones, you shrink smaller. So choose wisely, because you can't fulfill a divine purpose surrounded by destructive people. You can't move forward while trying to drag those who refuse to move. And sometimes letting go is not rejection. It's protection. Protecting your calling. Protecting your peace. Protecting your purpose. Don't invest yourself in wrong people. Not everyone deserves the seat closest to your heart. Some people belong in your past, not your present. Some people are lessons, not lifetimes. And the moment you realize that, you'll start walking lighter, dreaming bolder, and living freer. Because you'll finally be surrounded by those who want to see you win, not drain you while you try. There are moments in life when you have to take a long, honest look at who is sitting at your table, who you are allowing to eat from your energy, and who you are letting speak into your spirit. Because the truth is, not everyone who smiles at you has your best interest at heart. Not everyone who claps for you is truly happy for you. Some people are around you not because they love you, but because they love what they can get from you. They love the light you carry because it helps them see better in their own darkness. They love your strength because it makes their weakness less visible. They love your consistency because it gives them something stable to lean on while they give nothing back in return. But you have to realize that your heart is not a public park where anyone can just walk in and leave their baggage. Your heart is a sacred place, and the moment you start treating it like it's holy ground, you will see how many people have been stepping on it carelessly. You have to learn how to discern between those who come to lift you and those who come to use you. Because there are people who will drain your energy so quietly that you won't even notice it until you're tired and empty and don't know why. They will smile in your face while slowly pulling the strength out of your spirit. They will act like they're there for you while secretly envying what you carry. That's why it's dangerous to give your loyalty to people who haven't proven their integrity. You can't keep pouring into others who don't know how to pour back into you. You can't keep showing up for people who disappear when it's your turn to need help. Every time you invest your time, your energy, your emotions into the wrong person, you are taking away from the purpose that needs you most. You are wasting divine energy on something that will never produce fruit. You can't plant seeds in the wrong soil and expect a harvest. The soil determines the success of the seed, and some people are dry ground. Nothing you give them will ever grow because they don't want to grow. They don't want to change. They just want to feed off your growth. And if you're not careful, you'll spend years trying to fix people who were never your assignment. You'll spend seasons trying to build bridges to people who were meant to stay on the other side. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is stop explaining your heart to those who were never meant to understand it. Stop giving your best to people who can't even appreciate your presence. Stop shrinking your light to make small-minded people comfortable. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace, to guard your energy, and to keep your circle pure from those who only come to take but never give. There comes a point when you must recognize that not every relationship is a divine connection. Some people enter your life to distract you from your purpose, not to help you fulfill it. They disguise themselves as friends, supporters, even partners, but their real purpose is to keep you from growing into who you are meant to become. When you start walking in your calling, when you begin to rise above mediocrity, it will expose the motives of those who were only comfortable with your brokenness. Because the moment you begin to heal, the moment you begin to demand better, they'll start feeling threatened. They were fine as long as you were dependent on them, as long as you were doubting yourself, as long as you were easy to control. But the moment you discover your worth, they'll label you as prideful. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've changed, and yes, you have changed. Growth always changes you. Healing always changes you. Purpose always changes you. The wrong people will never understand your evolution because they benefit from your stagnation. They will talk about loyalty while betraying your trust. They will pretend to care while secretly resenting your potential. And if you're not careful, you'll start watering dead plants just because you don't want to let go of what used to be. You'll keep trying to revive relationships that no longer fit the person you've become. But the truth is, you can't carry everyone with you into your next season. Some people were only meant to be a part of your story, not your destiny. They were chapters, not the whole book. You can love them and still let them go. You can forgive them and still move on. Because forgiveness is about freeing yourself, not forcing someone to stay in your life. You have to get to a place where peace is more valuable than people pleasing, where your purpose matters more than their opinion, where your time is too precious to waste on those who don't appreciate it. You can't pour into people who refuse to grow. You can't mentor someone who enjoys being miserable. You can't fix people who don't see anything wrong with how they treat you. And you can't expect loyalty from those who are only around for the benefits. That's why it's so important to guard your heart. Protect it from emotional parasites who feed on your kindness. Protect it from people who keep taking but never contribute. Protect it from conversations that plant doubt in your spirit and call it advice. When you're connected to the wrong people, you'll always feel heavy. You'll always feel drained. You'll start questioning your worth because they never affirm it. You'll start doubting your calling because they never support it. But once you disconnect from the wrong energy, you'll be amazed at how clear your vision becomes. You'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll start attracting people who speak to your future instead of reminding you of your past. Because when you make room for the right people, the wrong ones will naturally fade away. Every relationship in your life is either an investment or an expense. Some people add to you, others subtract from you. And you've got to know the difference. If being around someone always leaves you anxious, tired, or uncertain, that's not love, that's depletion. You cannot thrive in an atmosphere where you're constantly explaining your value. You cannot build with someone who secretly competes with you, and you cannot keep giving yourself to those who don't recognize your worth until you're gone. There is freedom in detachment. There is peace in walking away from what no longer feeds your spirit. There is power in choosing yourself after years of choosing people who never chose you. You have to understand that solitude is not punishment. It's your preparation. It's in the quiet seasons that you learn who really deserves to walk with you when the noise begins again. So stop trying to drag people who were never meant to go where you're going. Some people can't handle your next level because they were only built for your old one. You must understand that your destiny is too valuable to be wasted on people who don't respect it. There are people who will never be able to handle the fullness of who you are because they are only comfortable with the smaller version of you. They were fine when you doubted yourself, when you played small, when you depended on them to validate you. But the moment you began to realize your worth, they started to pull away. They started to criticize what they once celebrated because your growth exposed their complacency. The truth is, some people loved you only as long as they could manage you. They were never invested in your freedom, only in your availability. They needed you broken so they could feel whole. They needed you insecure so they could feel important. They needed you unsure so they could lead you where they wanted you to go. But when you found your strength, you disrupted the arrangement. When you realized your calling, you broke the contract they had with your weakness. There is a difference between people who love you for what you carry and those who love you for who you are. Some people are addicted to your gift, but disconnected from your soul. They celebrate the results of your labor, but ignore the weight of your struggle. They love the applause you bring, but not the tears you shed to get there. And you can't afford to keep investing in relationships that only show up for your glory and not your grind. When people only come around when you are winning, you have to question whether they are partners or parasites. A real connection will be there in the valley just as much as on the mountaintop. The wrong people disappear when it's inconvenient. They vanish when you need prayer, when you need truth, when you need accountability. They're there for your spotlight, not your shadows. The wrong people will make you question your worth. They will twist your kindness into weakness. They will make you apologize for being passionate. They will make you feel guilty for wanting peace. And if you allow it, they will train you to think that your boundaries are betrayal. But you have to remember that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's sacred. You can't keep letting people disturb your inner calm just because they can't handle their own chaos. You can't let their confusion become your responsibility. You are not the savior of every struggling soul. You are not called to fix what refuses to be healed. You are called to grow, to elevate, to evolve. And sometimes that means letting people go even if you love them. There are people who will drain your spirit so slowly that you won't even notice the emptiness until you can't recognize yourself anymore. They will take from you emotionally, spiritually, mentally until you start walking around tired without reason, heavy without cause, broken without explanation. And when you finally distance yourself, they'll call you cold, they'll call you distant, they'll call you selfish. But they never called themselves when they were the ones doing the taking. You can't allow guilt to pull you back into places that peace pulled you out of. Every time you go back to what God told you to leave, you delay your healing. Every time you keep investing in people who show you they don't value your presence, You bankrupt your purpose. You have to learn to recognize when a relationship has expired. It doesn't always end in betrayal. Sometimes it just ends in growth. You outgrow people who refuse to grow with you. You evolve past conversations that no longer feed your spirit. You stop finding joy in circles that don't challenge your potential, and that's okay. You're not supposed to stay where your spirit feels stuck. You're not obligated to keep watering connections that no longer produce fruit. When a season is over, it's not punishment, it's protection. Sometimes God will allow people to leave because he knows they can't handle where he's taking you. If they stayed, they would sabotage your next level. You have to start surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to rise, who correct you with love, who speak life into your purpose, and who are not intimidated by your progress. You need people who celebrate your vision, not compete with it. You need people who push you toward excellence, not pull you back to mediocrity. Your circle determines your strength. Your environment shapes your endurance. When you invest in the right people, your faith multiplies, your creativity flourishes, and your peace deepens. But when you invest in the wrong people, your energy declines, your confidence fades, and your purpose becomes harder to see. Choose wisely, because whoever you give your time to, you are giving a piece of your destiny to. You are too valuable to be constantly repairing relationships that were never meant to last. You are too anointed to keep lowering your frequency to match people who refuse to grow. You are too chosen to let temporary people interrupt your eternal assignment. Let them go gracefully, bless them silently, and keep walking toward the light that called you. Because every step away from what drains you is a step closer to what fulfills you.